All right, folks. I'm changing the belt on my Ariens Icon 52 zero turn. Here's the main reason I'm changing it. If you come to this problem, as you can see right there, see how warped this is? Look at that. See, it just shredded it up. And you can see it right there as well. Just shredded it up. Now, even if you read the manual, it tell you some of the most common reasons why this happened is, wear and tear, such as debris get up under your, you got your cover and stuff here. Sometimes debris get up under there, grass clippings, little twigs and stuff like that. And I think that's what happened to me. Couple of little twigs got in there, and it got in the pulleys. And then next it actually made the belt jump off, which that was crazy. It went up under here, and that was hell getting it up under, because you got the screws that screws back up. That's one common reason. Another common reason with doing something similar to this in the past is if your pulleys are offline, meaning, see those two pulleys right there? Sometimes, as crazy as this may sound, sometimes they'll be off. See, now you got the two pulleys there, and you got the back one, and then you got the further one way in the back over there. Sometimes they'll be offline, and if they're offline, what do you mean by that? Meaning as your belt, that's what I'm trying to say. As your belt is going through, believe it or not, sometimes, for whatever matter, one pulley will be higher or lower than the other. And if that happens, that means that it's going to be scraping against the other, and that'll wear your belt out. Now, that's an easy fix. If you ever have that, remember, it's just like when we building stuff in the house. If that ever happens, you could easily align the other pulley up by simply using washers. You could put washers up under the pulley thing here, or pull your pulley, you gotta go underneath and then pull this up and put washers under there. And that'll help line it back up if that happens. But in most cases, the most common thing that happens is debris from wear and tear, grass clippings, twigs, little tree branch and stuff. It gets up in there. I had a buddy of mine many years ago. This joker had a gecko. Believe it or not, there was a gecko up in his thing. Some of the weirdest things happen. It was a rather large gecko that had died and was just right up in there. That's really crazy. But weird things happen, right? The other thing to take into account, when you're buying yourself a pulley, if you go to your local Home Depot, Lowe's, you're gonna be overpriced. Don't do that, folks. Don't do that. I'm telling you, this same belt, I went to Lowe's and Home Depot, it was $85 to $90 for one belt. When I went right online, got the exact part number. That's what you want. You don't just want to get any belt. Look for your part number. Got the exact part number, and then made sure it's compatible with my unit, but mostly the part number. This belt was $26. So of course I bought two, $52. Whereas one belt that wasn't the exact part number at Home Depot and Lowe's was $90. That's crazy. One other thing, like it even says in the manual, when you're taking the belt off, make sure you take a picture or a slight video of how the belt was put on. That way it helps you if you're having little problems putting the belt back on. You know exactly how you put it on, the exact way you took it off. If it hasn't been ripped off by wear and tear. Debris everywhere. Matter of fact, one of the most common areas you're gonna have debris is up under there, but if you look closely, you'll see another area you're gonna have a lot of debris. It's right up under there and right here, if you can see. Look at this. Look at this. A whole bunch. So this gives you a perfect time to do a little more thorough cleaning. Let me see, watch this. I can feel a whole chunk. Look at this. These are things that's gonna cause your belt wear and tear, because when stuff like this get caught up in here, the pulleys, it could possibly throw it offline. And mine went under. And when it went under, it started, I was driving this thing, all of a sudden, all this white smoke came. I said, what the heck? And it was ripping the belt apart. Just rip. I said, oh man. And sure enough, I had twigs and all kinds of nonsense up under here. So this gives you a perfect time to say, hey, let me do a little better thorough cleaning. And obviously I got to go on the other side. But yeah, look at that big chunk I pulled out of there. That's crazy. All right, so in order to get the belt off, you got to unscrew this. I already loosened it, so instead of making the video so long, that's one screw. And unscrew this one. That's two. Now, in order to get the belt off, you got to take these things off. Because the belt, remember, the belt ain't going to be able to get around it with this like that. So you got to take that off. You got to take this one off. But in order to get this one off, that's the reason I got this tool here. You got to take this spring. You get this, got a lot of tension on here. Yeah. I should have something less bulky. This is in the way. Now I tried to use this here, but this was too big and bulky. I started scraping my machine. Just get what tool is comfortable for you. But the whole point is you gotta get this off. Look at that, way more easier, look at that. Simple tool, and I was trying to use this big bulky thing. It was driving me crazy. It was like, clank, clank, like that. So putting this belt in, I'm gonna show you slowly, step by step, without going fast. That way anyone can get it. Number one, make sure the belt is all aligned in the straight way. Make sure it's not twisted or nothing like that. That's number one. Number two, now you're gonna start installing the belt. So you get this part, make sure it's all the same. You go right in here, because this part is what's gonna connect your back part. You go right in there, boom. And now that we're in there, let's go around the back. Kind of low to the ground, got it up on the ramp. And you just simply connect it around there, boom. See, I'll pull it back so you can see it again. Here it is, and just connect it around there, that's done. Now you get back to your original spot. It's where it gets a little tricky, not confusing, but just a little tricky, because you're gonna be going up and down. That's where a lot of people get a little confused. So now, in order to get this part, you have to loosen this bolt. So you have to have it raised up. See, because the whole purpose of losing that bolt, you want to be able to lift this. So you don't take it off, you just loosen it. So now that it's loosened, so now you can take this part of the belt, simply go around here, because that's how it's going to go. And then you can take this part, and you take this belt, and you go all the way over the top. All the way over the top to the end over there. All right? Ah, man, I hurt my finger. You go all the way over to the top. Now you take this part of the belt that comes off the big pulley here, and that's the purpose of lifting this up. Lift that up, and you get that around that pulley. See? Now it's around that pulley. Now, you can stay right there. Now that it's around that pulley and it's around here, you can see this here. Now you go to the other side. Man, I'm sweating my butt off. It's so hot. Now, matter of fact, you can come over here, it'd probably be better. We did that side. Over here, you gotta come over here, but you can't see it from that way. And I think it came off. Let me make sure it's back on. It's still on, rather. Yep, came off. Make sure that back part is connected. And make sure it's connected. I always put a little tension on it. So now, remember the part where I said you want this loose. So now you will go behind it. Go behind it and put it on this pulley. Boom. Remember, two gotta come straight up. And then you come around here. So on that pulley. And then you go in the back of this pulley. Give me a little one. And now you come in front of this pulley. Let's get a little on. We'll walk that on later. And that is it. Now you just make sure everything is on. All right. So now we go back over there, go over there. I'm gonna walk it on.
What a workout.
Yeah. Now, everything's on. And now you can just walk this on. Now, here's the thing here. Once you get that on, now, that's when your pulley gonna come back this way. Now you're gonna tighten it back up. But before you do that, you're gonna, on this part, remember, you gotta tighten this piece back. But in order to get a good tight, you gotta get up. You see my arm is up under here? You gotta attach your ratchet up underneath. Otherwise, this thing will just keep turning. If you got it on a high enough ramp, you can see what you're doing. It's even better. There we go. There we go. Nice and tight. Now that's when we put our piece back here. Now with this piece here, what's cool about this is that it actually has a hole there, if you can see. So you know it's in the right spot because you put it on, you make sure it slides right in that hole. There we go. See, that's how you know it's on right. And then you just put your screw on the top and you tighten that down. All right, so this is how you put your tension back on, just like how we pulled it off. Same thing, putting it back on. You're gonna pull this up. This gives you your tension. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so this is the part you put the tension back on the belt. Now, if you try to do it while it's all connected, trust me, you're gonna be killing yourself. So what you do is just simply unloosen the belt, and that gives this more leeway. So now you can actually pull it without straining yourself. So you get this on here. Push it. You got plenty of room now. Look at that, nice and easy. Okay, nice and easy. If you'd have did that with the belt connected, trust me, when I tell you, it would have been hard. So now all you do, you just walk the belt back on. And now you got that tension that you wanted, see? Nice and tight tension. So now that you got that on, like I said, step by step, you put the washer back on, but you put this side down. See, we're not rushing through anything. For anyone to listen to the instructions, we're going step by step. That way you could get it. I've seen some people, they rush through the steps and you're like, man, wait, what are you doing that part? Now, essentially, you are done at this point. 16. I don't think that's it. Oh, yeah, that's it. So remember I also said earlier in the video, make sure you put your cover back on. Learn from my mistake. Because I had my cover off and thinking I would be fine. But that's how I wound up getting added extra debris and stuff in my belt. And that's what wound up eventually tearing my belt up. All the debris, because I thought, oh, it's no big deal. Because like I said, half of the season I would use, or certain jobs, I would use my vac bag. And then sometimes I wouldn't. But regardless, when I wouldn't or not, I went a whole season without using a belt again. I mean, without using the belt cover. So be sure to use your belt cover. Like I said, that's the reason they put it there, to protect the belt. So my goofy butt took the cover off and never put it back. And then I'm wondering why my belt worn so easy and so quick. I had this machine well over 4 years, never had a problem until I took that belt cover off. Once I took the belt cover off, it lasted a season. But when it started to have a problem, boy, did it have a problem. That's it, folks. All right, so now we are completely finished installing, dismantling the old ripped up belt and putting on a brand new belt. And remember what I told you in the beginning of the video? When I tried to buy that belt at Lowe's or Home Depot, it was $80, $90. You could get the same belt on Amazon for like $26. Therefore, I bought two. Two for less than what one would cost me at Home Depot and Lowe's. And just make sure you get the part number. The part number for this is got to be the same part number that you order online. Now that we got everything installed, let's cut it on. Oh yeah, and this is very imperative, very important. That's the problem why my belt was shredded up in the first place. Whenever I would put my vac bag on and everything, you know, you have to take the cover off on this side, not that side. But I took the cover off on this side and I didn't put it back once I wasn't using the vac. and therefore extra debris was getting caught in there, messing on my belt up. And I thought it was no problem. I had this machine well over 4 years, never had a problem until I start taking that cover off. And it's a reason. It's a belt cover to protect it. So it's actually silly of me for taking it off and not putting it back when I'm not using the vacuum thing. But here we go. Let's cut it on and see if we did it all right, which I'm sure we did. Brake on. Started. Now let's hit the belt. Starting low. It's good. Now, let's do a little. So as I always say in most of my videos, you can do it. Because I tell you, if you take this to a dealership, a contract that is, like I always say, try to learn how to have an extra skill up under your belt, meaning you learn how to do these things yourself. It's easy to do. Just read the instruction manual. We know how, let's be honest, a lot of us don't want to do a lot of the reading, right? Well, watch videos like this. When you watch videos like this, people like myself and many others, we show you step by step. And that's why when I was putting the belt on, I thought I'd really show you step by step with that. Because lifting that thing up, that's where to confuse most people. They keep like, wait a minute, how you get this? You gotta loosen it, but don't take it off. And then now you prop it up, and that's how you slide it under. Otherwise, it'll drove you crazy. So learn how to do stuff yourself. Because I tell you, when I first got this machine, and I was getting a bagger, I went to a contractor, you won't believe. This contractor told us he don't install those. When the manufacturer themselves is the one that gave me their address. But you know, you got funny people doing funny things. So I'm glad that guy act that way, because I do most of my stuff anyway. It was just something new. I said, I'll take it there. But no, I installed the bagger myself. I installed my belts myself. I do my oil change myself. I do any engine repairs all myself. Why? Because I try my best. If I can, I would advise you the same. Stay away from these scam artists. Get over overpriced contractors. All right, y'all.